So back in the day, around like 2015, it was 2015, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that's when Derrick Jaxn came out. If you don't know who Derrick Jaxn is, I'm saying his name right, Derrick Jaxn or Derrick Jaxn?
I think it's Jackson.
Yeah, I think it's Derrick Jaxn, right?
Yeah, because her last name's Jackson.
Okay, yeah. So Derrick Jaxn, he was a relationship coach. And like back in 2015, like all the girls used to post this man like I
posted him a couple times.
She showed his videos many of times. And every time you showed it to me, what did I say?
He's lying. He's not doing anything he's talking about.
Yeah, so I was just like, yo, and the only reason why I said it because he kept coming at men. So I was like, babe, don't believe what this man's saying because it sounds like he is full of shit. Fast forward to 2024, and his wife just did an interview about his infidelity.
I have a post that says, I knew her body better than I knew my own.
Stop. Let that sit there.
About their marriage, period.
About their marriage.
Right.
In this video, we will be discussing what happened in the interview, what she said, and giving our reactions on it.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Hi, my name is Lamont.
And I'm Tiffany.
And welcome to the SOSAPIOSEXUal podcast, where attraction transcends physicality and sparks fly through engaging conversations. Let's get into it.
So actually, this conversation came up because you asked me if I watched her video. She did an interview. It's called Dear Future Wifey is the podcast.
I would go to their profiles and I would study their pages and like what they wear. I knew when they had met up. So I watched their videos of them having sex.
I can't remember the guy's name who actually hosted.
Yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to Derrick Future Wifey. That was an excellent podcast.
He goes, basically the reason why he's starting it is to help people basically heal from like their own traumas. He brings people on a platform where they can talk about what happened to them and they can help somebody else heal. That's basically what the platform is.
Right.
So he brought Derrick, Mr. Jackson's, I would guess ex-wife now, but I really don't know what their business is, on the podcast. It was about an hour and like 20 minutes long, the first part. And I actually pulled it up on YouTube and I watched it for a good hour. And then I shared it with you because I think you said you saw the clips.
Right.
You didn't see the full interview. Overall, the interview was very, I would say eye-opening, I guess. Sad at the same time. And it just shows you when you don't deal with yourself, it can prolong to other issues that you continue to do, basically, or tolerate. So I think that I'm gonna go into I guess a little bit of what she talked about.
Yeah, so let's get into let's get into it. What is the meat and the potatoes of the whole conversation?
So the meat and potatoes is, first of all, Ms. Jackson, there's a lot of respect for you because you actually went on a platform and you talked about things. First of all, you stood on what happened to you. Second of all, you stood on what your belief is, and you still have a strong belief in God. Yeah. So I do give credit to where credit is due, and that's a very big step for you. So I'm not at any place trying to destroy your character, to tell you you're a worse person or anything. I'm just going to give my opinion off of the things that you did say.
Right.
And that's it. Again, I never lived what you lived, but I can relate to some things you were talking about.
Right.
So basically the storyline goes that her father really wasn't present. If I'm not mistaken, I don't remember if he passed away. Nah,
so he did pass away, but he passed away when she was like around 20 years old, or 19, 20.
Right.
All right, I'm just trying to remember the video. So she explained to, what was the podcast? The podcast again?
Dear Future Wifey.
So she explained to them that her parents was very young when they had them.
Yep, like 16, 15.
Yeah, and she was kind of like dealing with daddy issues.
Yep, because she felt as though, which is very true. So she broke down, basically said, because my parents were so young, they didn't know how to be parents.
Right.
Which is usually around that age, people don't know how to be parents because they're kids still.
You're still a kid.
So she felt rejected by her dad and her mother because they didn't know what they were doing. So she grew up with this rejection in her head and not acceptance and stuff like that, which led her in her adult life. She was straight A student. She was very quiet. She keeps to herself, all that great stuff. And then at the age of 19, she was raped by somebody she knew.
Right.
And it
At
wasn't
a party or something
right.
like that.
She went to a party. She snuck out of the party. Her parents told her not to go, or her mom told her not to go, and she went anyway. And this person knew her, and he basically, what she said is he liked what he saw. He wanted what he saw.
Right. When her I think her cousins or something was upstairs. She went downstairs in the basement or whatever, and
They didn't hear her.
one thing led to another because they was at a party with loud noises or whatever, and then the dude just came behind her and grabbed her, took advantage of her. And you know, right before, let me just just say this real quick. It's so crazy that what she had said after that when she was doing the interview. She said that after the rape happened, she didn't even leave there. She actually spent
stayed
the
there
night
with her abuser.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the sad part about it is, the only reason why I can say I can relate to that because I was raped when I was 18 years old.
Right.
So it kind of was a little bit of an eye opener for me because it made me think like, okay, so did I really like deal with what happened? Or did I just kind of like go about life because it happened? Like, and so she kind of broke down some things that made me really actually sit and think about my situation and what happened with me. She said, of course, most women, 1 out of 3 women know their person that does it because they know the person, and then she's right. So she went into that, and she said 3 weeks later, she met Mr. Jaxn.
Right, at the age of 19.
At the age of 19. She just been through trauma. And one thing she said in there, she said, I never got healed or dealt with the trauma that happened. Like I just bypassed it and went about my life. A lot of us do that. We just kind of go past it. It is what it is. We blame ourselves sometimes, whatever. And she met him.
Derrick Jaxn.
Derrick Jaxn.
Right.
She said he was very charming. And he asked her, like, do you want to be my tutor or something? Like, corny along the lines
of that. It was
so
corny.
It was just corny.
But it was 19.
Right.
So,
And, of course, she, at that time, she's shy. She said she was a marching band.
Yeah, she said that she grew up in a all-white school, so she didn't really know the games or anything like that. She didn't really know the culture at that time.
Right. And he put her on to game.
He put her on a game.
Because they went to a historically black college,
Tuskegee.
Yep. And they met in college, and she said the first, I think, 3 months was great. You know, he was very charming. You know, he did little things here and there. She took care of him. She made sure he was taken care of. He needed food. She cooked for him, all that other stuff.
Yeah, she catered to him.
She did. And they had conversations about their future, and they wanted kids and to get married. Fairy tale situation, usually.
Right.
That's the honeymoon stage. Everything's great.
Right.
You see butterflies and stars every time you look in a person's face, you know?
Right.
But then she said it starts to go downhill from there. She said he was with multiple women.
But hold on.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So like you kind of like
Did I
rushing.
skip stuff?
You skipped a lot of things.
What did I skip? I could have sworn she.
Well, I just recently watched the video, so
yeah,
I kinda,
you was fresh in your head.
Yeah, it's still fresh in my head. So,
Yeah.
so everything that you said was true. But the timeline. The timeline is a little bit more severe.
Okay.
Because what she was saying was like after the 3 weeks, she didn't really have healing.
Right.
And she met Derrick, whatever. She says when she got with him, that he was, still messing with other people in college.
Right, in college.
In college. So she was saying that that she didn't like it. She said something really shocking. She said that when you are a victim of rape, you kind of are sensitive to like different types of touches and different type of emotions or whatever.
That's very true.
And she was like that when he touched her, it was different and she felt it. And her being the
victim,
her being the curious type.
Okay.
That she went digging through his phone.
Right. Oh, that's right. I have to forget that.
Right.
Part. Yep.
And what she found.
Right.
This is crazy, right? What she found was videos of him, having sexual relations with other females.
Yep.
And instead of confronting him, this was like, when I heard this part, I was just like, damn. You know what I'm saying? She said instead of confronting him, she used to hide in a closet.
Yep.
She hid in a closet and cried. And when he went in she said that she wanted him to find her in a closet, which he did.
Yep.
And when he asked her, like, yo, why you in a closet? Like, what the fuck going on or whatever? She was just like,
she made it up about my dad.
She made it up about her dad. And that was her not dealing with her trauma.
Correct.
But that's
being rejected.
Yeah. So they've been dealing with stuff like that through their whole entire basically childhood because they kind of children, they're 19. So yeah, she was dealing with that or whatever. For multiple years because she said 9 or so years before they got married. They was
it was 9
dating.
9 years.
They was quote unquote dating on and off for like 9 years.
Yep.
Because it was like so much infidelity, this, that, and the third, going back and forth, and then he finally asked her hand in marriage once she was pregnant.
Right, which was what's really was a whoopsie daisy because the way she was explaining it was she was pregnant, he still was messing with women.
Right.
So she said this, it made sense. She said she got pregnant in trauma.
Right.
Because he was already emotionally abusing her and she just happened, now you had a trauma baby. Right. So now they're trying to figure out this whole family nucleus and move in together and do all this other stuff. But he's still cheating. Right. And she not once said she said, well, I'm not going to say that she did it not once, but moving further in the future, she did confront him finally and said, I don't like this.
Yeah, she did confront him about the whole thing.
But that was before she said that she would be passing women in the hallway when they would have D appointments. Yeah. And she would see the women.
She would see the women. And
pregnant.
She said the wrong name. She said the wrong name. She referred to her song, but it wasn't her. It was SZA that made the song.
Right, right. But she didn't want to say her name.
Yeah.
Right.
So SZA made the song or whatever. But anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, she said that she was passing the females.
That was wild.
But they like 19, 20 though. They still in college at that point.
Yeah, they're still in college.
Yeah.
Still in college.
So we said a lot. Do you got any more to add to the story? Or?
Just to fast forward, then she kept having his children basically, and he
How
still
many
was
kids
cheating.
They had?
I think they have 3 kids in total, I think. Yeah. But they kept having children. He kept getting her pregnant. Finally, he just basically married her.
Okay.
But he didn't marry her out of the pre-notions of like, hey, I want to be married to you. I think he married her the pre-notions of you're pregnant, you're having kids.
Well, she said that they wasn't even together when they
got engaged.
She said that one day he just
called her mother.
Called her mom and was like, I want to marry your daughter. And the mom didn't like him.
Yep.
Or whatever.
Because she discerned some things. Yep.
Yep. And it's crazy because what's her name?
Deanja?
Something with a D. I forgot her name or whatever. But she was just like, she was shocked that he asked her in the hand of he asked her in the hand of marriage or whatever that saying goes, right?
Asked for the hand of marriage, right?
Like she was so excited. And she was just like, "Yo, I won." You get what I'm saying? Like, F all those other females. Like, I'm winning. And she said that she felt kind of relieved at that point because she said that, "Hey, all that stuff that I've been through, it finally paid off." Right. But once they got married or whatever, well, once they was engaged, they started going to marriage counseling, pre-marriage counseling. They never finished because a lot of her baggage about her being raped and everything started to come out, and the guy couldn't handle it. Yep. So he canceled.
And I also think too, a lot of that had to do with he had to deal with himself, and he didn't want to.
Right.
A lot of times it's one person wants it one-sided, like it's all you, but really it's both of us. That's why we're here. You know what I'm saying? And I think that had a lot to do with it because I think after that. Got to the point where he still was doing it.
Yeah,
it never stopped. It never stopped. So that was part 1.
That's part 1. She didn't get the part 2.
We don't know what happened in part 2, but I can only imagine it probably continues.
Yeah, but
until it got really disrespectful.
So I think it was really disrespectful now.
I would think that would just be disrespectful. Period.
That's really disrespectful. But I guess this is the time that we start explaining the situation. Right. And I got plenty to say.
Of course.
I got plenty to say. And don't y'all be eating me up in them comments, man. Y'all be wilding.
Right.
But anyway, they was 19.
Right.
They was 19.
Right.
And if I'm a 19-year-old, if I'm 19, a 19-year-old male,
right.
I don't care if you got daddy issues. That's not my problem.
No, it's not.
Matter of fact, he didn't even know that she had daddy issues.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? You can't really blame him for her issues. You can't blame him for her daddy issues. You can't blame him for her being raped. You can't blame him for manipulating her. He's a young boy. You know what I mean? He's going to try to get what he wants. So if I was 19 and if I had my main girl and she was coming back and forth from dick appointments from the other chicks that I had and seeing them crossing the hallway and then saying hi to whatever and then coming, I feel like the man because I'm an immature boy at that time. I'm 19 years old.
Right.
So yeah, if you set the relationship off on a basis like that, once something happened like that and it continue, like once a habitual thing happened like that, ain't no stopping it. This person is telling you who they are.
I agree.
You already agreeing to that in the beginning. So like what you was talking about in the last video, I'll post a card up above. You were saying you was talking about control and boundaries. That's a boundary right there. That's a boundary. Like
if he do one.
She admitted it. Like she didn't know what a boundary was
or a standard. She said, "I didn't know you can do that." She said, "I didn't know you can bring that to the table." And it's crazy because we just had this conversation in our last video, and some people understand boundaries. Somebody I think wrote boundaries is set for other people, not for the person. Like they basically were saying the boundary that you're set is not controlling the other person or telling the person what to do, is a boundary for yourself. Not necessarily true, because a boundary is just a boundary. It can't just be like, well, it's a boundary for me and not for you. It's a boundary overall. This is what I'm tolerating. This is what I'm not tolerating. Right. This is my standard. My standard is this. If you can't stand with it, that's cool. We just can't be together. It's not that wrong. And I agree with you 100%. 110%. You are 19 years old.
19 years old. Like, you immature.
Kids,
you don't know.
You're still a child. It is known medically. You are not fully developed till you're 25 years old.
Your testosterone is like Super Saiyan levels.
And on top of that, you're surrounded by all these options. Right.
You in college.
So
he's a football player.
Right. And being realistic, we have sons. Right. Am I going to be that person? I'm going to tell my kids, please focus on yourself and get yourself together. And the reason why, don't be trying to be marrying somebody at 19, 20, 21, 22. Wow. Don't be trying to live your 20s to your fullest advantage. Right. I just told a young lady the same thing. She's 25 years old. Mm-hmm. She looks at me like a sister. Right. And I explained to her, she's like, I want to get married so bad. I said, stop right there. No. I said, no. And she said, well, why, Tiff? I said, you're going to still want to party. You're going to still want to enjoy your life. Mm-hmm. You're going to still have things that you want to do and complete before you hit 30. Enjoy the 20s to do that. Right. You don't need to have a baby at this time. You don't need to be married to nobody at this time. Because honestly, the idea of marriage sounds great, but when you have to get in the dirt, you're not going to want to do that. You're 20 years old.
Right. Do you feel that everybody should be married? Do you feel like that's a everybody thing?
I'm not going to say it's everybody thing because everybody has their own preferences. Marriage may fit, it fits only certain people. Right. And, it depends on your partner. Mm-hmm. I can't speak for everybody.
Marriage definitely not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
And I wouldn't recommend it to that many people because just because of the amount of maturity you have to have. Right. And the amount of loyalty you have to have. Correct. So again, we did the work before we got married, and I think that we did the work prior to us meeting each other. Right. You get what I'm saying?
Correct.
And nobody's perfect. I'm not saying that I'm here perfect, and I'm not trying to come down on Derrick Jaxn for what he did.
Right.
Because, you know, men are men,
Right.
women are women.
Right.
We are human.
Right.
To be human is to be flawed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not coming down on anybody.
Right.
But, yeah.
19's too young to be serious. It's just too young.
It's too young.
Way too young. You have not experienced anything. You have not even gotten into a career to take care of somebody.
Yeah.
You know, the idea of marriage, everybody loves the idea. They don't want to fight for it, though.
Yeah, but that's when they're young. But what about when they're older? Because they was dating for
9 years.
9 years, and then they got married, and then they was married for a long time. They might still be married right now.
Right.
So it's kind of weird to me that she still kept his last name. So if they're not together, she's still walking around with his last name.
Which I think is still that trauma.
What I think is this, right? And you know me. No.
Oh, okay.
I'm a little outrageous.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a little outrageous. My thoughts are unorthodox. I get that. You get what I'm saying? But, right? Hear me out on this one. If you feel a way about this person and you want to expose them, right? Why are you keeping ties by keeping that last name?
I agree.
Like, that last name is bonding y'all together. Like, you still keeping his last name.
Right.
I feel like the vibe that I'm getting for her is that she's doing the same thing that she mentioned earlier in the video, where she went to another man to pretend that she was done with him. You get what I'm
right,
saying?
she
So
did.
I think that she's doing this video because she hasn't been out there in a long time.
No.
So I think that she's doing this video to try to get his attention.
Maybe.
Low key, and this is my opinion.
maybe.
I may be 100% off on this one,
Right.
but low key, because I've
Right.
dealt with people like this, low key, she's probably is a little
Right.
on a you know what I mean?
Off.
I don't even off.
Right.
Yeah, that's the right word.
off.
She may be a little off because she may be behind closed doors. She may be trying to do other things like commit suicide, you know, cause other problems, saying that she's going to hurt herself, saying she's going to hurt the kids, this, that, and the third. And now she's on national TV trying to get his attention. I dealt with people that's like that. So that's the type of vibe that I was getting. But I can be completely wrong. How do you feel?
Well, I just thought in the interview there was a lot of laughing going on, which I don't feel as though there should have been.
It was just weird.
That didn't sit well with me.
Right.
And the reason why it didn't sit well with me, because this is not a joking matter. You're talking about a trauma.
You're talking about rape?
Correct. You're talking about somebody who had to go through infidelity, who has children that are going to see this video about their
Yes.
father. And to me, it was a little weird because I kept saying, why are you laughing? Like, it's not, I don't feel like this is a funny matter. And some people be like, oh, well, I need to make a joke to not cry.
Right.
Okay.
You can make a few jokes.
That's fine. But it
the
was like
whole
every
thing,
time it was a joke.
the whole interview was based
Correct.
off of, it wasn't serious at all. Even the person that was interviewing her
was making jokes.
Was making jokes about it. I'm just
and
like.
then he made a joke and she's like, the person's dead. He's like, oh, my bad. Yeah, well, because y'all joking the
you
whole
joking?
time.
Yeah, you didn't know. Like,
It's not a joke.
You know what I'm
And that's one thing that didn't sit with me for that.
Yeah.
What she was talking about, as in like, you know, I wish I would have known to set boundaries or standards. Wish I would have known all that. And this is the conversations we have when you are in a relationship, beginning, middle, or end. It doesn't matter. Well, end, that's it. But beginning,
Right.
you need to set standards, boundaries, whatever y'all want to call it. You need to have, like, hey, I'm not going to tolerate this. If that's what you want to do, you can do it, just not with me.
Well,
You know?
I think when you ask somebody to marry them,
Right.
you get what I'm saying? Traditionally, that is a monogamous union.
100%.
So if you ask somebody in a marriage, they automatically think that, okay, he want monogamy or she
Right.
want monogamy.
That's true.
So
Unless
if you
stated.
unless stated.
Right.
So if you didn't state that she was a polygamous person, then you know you have no right to do that. Again, I'm not
Right.
bashing. I'm
I agree.
just stating what was going on.
I think it was wrong for her to not say something to him and tell him, I will not tolerate this. She said it towards the middle end where she was like, I'm not going to stand for this, and blah, blah, blah. And he came back, he fixed it, and still went back. You cannot continuously let somebody do something.
She is a troubled woman.
She is. Rejection and abandonment is her issue. She said that in the beginning.
It is. And to me, she may be stalking him.
Yeah, I don't know.
She may be stalking him. It may seem like, listen, he's wrong for what he did.
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to say he's not wrong for what he did.
Right.
But a man will be a man. If you get cheated on by a man multiple times, not just one, multiple times, guess what he's gonna do?
Keep doing
He got you, especially when he's 19 years old. When he got that mentality, you have basically, yeah. Can you stop licking, King? Like, yo, we on video. Jesus, our dogs is wild. In the background, you're going.
Right.
But anyway, like I was saying, if you he has been programmed.
Yep.
Not only by her, but all the girls that he's been dealing with. Like,
Absolutely.
this is okay.
Yeah.
If this man is okay, he's the man. He's not going to stop doing. He's not going to stop in his eyes and other men's eyes.
Right.
You the man.
Right.
He's not going to stop doing what he's doing. Like, you already let him do that.
That's why I said that there was no conversation had.
If you're going to let him do it, he's going to continue to do it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Like, why would he stop? Like,
I agree.
And other women was letting him do, because other women knew about you.
They did.
It's not like the other woman didn't know. I mean, these women will act like they all buddy with you or whatever, and still behind your back.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
Fuck your dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or the same with females and dudes relationship,
Absolutely.
opposite sex. You get what I'm saying?
Yes. Which I don't trust.
It's wild. Like,
Which we never trust.
Yeah.
Because I feel as though that is just another way of plan B, as I call it. Because you have plan B just in case plan A don't work out. And I got somewhere to slide in.